Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
James Farlong.
Hey.
And Sean Bell.
You alright?
Sean the Cheeky Man Bell.
That's what they call me.
I'm trying to get you a little nickname in there, mate.
Cheekster.
The Cheekster. The Cheekmeister. Yeah, I feel I need to clear something up right at the start of the show because who listens to chat very good?
Me.
Anyone?
Sometimes.
It's good. I like it. It's a really good podcast. You should all listen to it. It's very funny. And I like everyone on it except for Sam. But then who does like Sam? Now, I don't know if you know Sam White. He's very... I like the guy, despite what I just said. But I'm not going to tell him anything anymore because he mangles stories that I tell him to make me sound absolutely disgraceful. So let me just play you what... Because I was listening to this morning, right? And at first I was quite happy. There was quite nice things being said about me. And then just listen to what happens, right? Okay.
You've done quite a few. Should we have a look now? And then let's see who's winning.
Is that right, so what they're doing now... Right, so someone's just brought up Mirror Dad.
Best thing.
Are we allowed to talk about Mirror Dad? Yeah, I think we have, haven't we?
I don't know what Mirror Dad is.
Oh, come on, I must have told you this.
You might have.
Okay,
you may have.
It's the one where Dave Turner's used to stand in the mirror with his kid and look in the mirror, and when the kid looked up at him in real life, he'd be like, "Oh, I love you, Harry, love you, Harry." And when the kid looked in the mirror and saw Mirror Dad, Dave would go, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to kill you."
Right, now, to start off with that, right, that Mirror Dad story is true, right? I used to do that to Harry.
Good memories.
And Joe goes there. What I didn't say was I'm going to kill you, right? That's not true. However, I'm going to give Sam the benefit of the doubt then, and I might have said that. I said that because it was funnier. Okay, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But listen to the story that he moves on to because this is ridiculous, right? In fact, should I tell you what actually happened? This story. So. Basically, Joe's 6-year-old niece, she went through a phase of absolutely loving accents, right? Which is shaky ground, I know, but
I love an accent.
The innocence of a child, it's fine, trust me. So she would just bark accents at me, and then I'd try and do the accent, and she'd laugh at me, and then I'd bark accents at her, and she'd try and do the accent and laugh. And then I can't remember. I think what I told you this morning, I don't think it was 100% true because this was ages ago. I think I was doing a nativity play or something, and for each character I got her to ask me what accent they want them in, and for the narrator she chose African. Now that is, it is one of those accents that you can't really do, right? Because you do get classed as racist, right? Am I right? Because there are a few accents that you can't do: Chinese, Indian.
You could. You could do like a South African one and not be racist. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. South African's fine. I think.
Yeah.
Polish, is that racist now? I think
the
it
thing
is.
this whole thing has done my head in for years. Why is it racist to do an Indian accent when I can't? If I do an American one, it's fine.
Yeah,
I know why.
Well, hang on, that's because nobody's really racist against them. Yeah,
exactly. Like I totally understand why some accents are racist and some aren't, because some were used in abusive situations and others weren't. You didn't have Americans coming over and having to endure. Actually, you probably did. Like everyone's done a bad American accent at an American person at some point in their life. But no, that's just the way it is. I'm not qualified enough to question that, so I go along with it. I don't do those accents. But when there's a 6-year-old little girl asking you to do an African accent, you fucking do one, all right? Because it makes her smile. Probably not in public, but I did. And because it was the nativity, I kept saying baby Jesus in an African accent. And I'm not going to do it now.
Well,
but
Dave, I'd love to hear your African accent, because I've never heard it before.
As I say, you don't do it in public. They're the rules. I'm going to stick to them.
Well, in public. You're in your own home. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but this goes all over the world, this sound file. Very slowly. It downloads very, very slowly, but it does go around the world. So, I did the African accent for baby Jesus, and then the joke was, the end result was that she was going to school, and every time the nativity was being done, she was shouting baby Jesus in an African accent like I was doing, right? That was the story. Totally innocent and with silly results and, a bit of a funny anecdote. I told Sam White this. Listen how he takes this story and mangles it, right?
That's something you do to a nephew, not your own child.
Right, so they're still talking about Mirror Dad here.
And every time she turned back round, he'd be like, "You alright, mate? What's up? What's up? Who's that? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna kill you." David's now my hero.
You're my hero tomorrow.
Version of you getting your cousin to sit on a bench.
Right, here we go.
Has David told you the story of when he convinced his niece that Jesus spoke with an African accent?
That's where that's how that ended up. Has he told you that story about how he told his niece, he convinced his niece that Jesus spoke with an African accent? Like, I sat her down and said, you do know this about Jesus, right? And he makes it worse.
So David Turner's niece came up to David's brother, and I think Dave took her through the nativity, but told her that Mary spoke like, "It was the baby Jesus." Oh my God. So whenever David's niece used to talk about Mary, she would affect an African accent. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Who's that baby Jesus?
Right, okay, I'm going to stop it there. But
David,
can I
you're
just
a horrible
say,
person. I didn't know you.
Shocking.
the Sam's thing wasn't real. That wasn't the real story. The thing is, right, is that what gets me about that clip and what horrified me while I was sitting at my desk listening to it this morning was you can hear Joe Screbbles gasp in a way that he was thinking, I knew this about him. I knew he was like that in real life. I'm telling you, you listen to it back, you hear him go, oh, Jesus. So, just to be clear, that wasn't the story. If you listened to Chat Very Good and heard that and thought, fucking hell, Dave's racist, that wasn't the story at all. Sam White is just a fucking idiot. Okay? Is that clear? Thank you.
You've said worse in the past, in private, obviously,
Yeah, you say anything in private as long as it doesn't get out there, right? Yeah, okay, so there's a few things happened in the gaming world that I wanted to talk about. The main thing is the whole Red Dead Redemption backwards compatibility. It finally happened.
It did.
But do you know what was interesting me? Was that at the same time, the Warriors come out on PS4.
Oh, yeah,
really?
And, man, that really shows the difference in... they announced that Red Dead Redemption come out on the Xbox One. Everyone rushed and downloaded their copy of Red Dead Redemption that they bought, or paid for it for £6 off the Xbox store.
That's what
or
I did.
Found their old discs or whatever. Any of that stuff. Warriors come out for PS4 and they charge, what was it, 15 quid for it?
Jesus.
13 to 15 quid, something like that.
I think, it's the standard rate, isn't it, for PS2 stuff on the PS4?
It does make fucking Sony look shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that Warriors announcement is quite a big one, right? Like a Rockstar game that you can play on current gen consoles. And alright, it was a PS2 game, but still. But the fact that news just sunk like a rock because everyone was talking about the Red Dead Redemption thing.
I bet I know why that's happened. I bet Rockstar have done that because Sony obviously want their backwards compatibility stuff to go through PlayStation Now. So I bet Sony might have said, let's get Red Dead on there. But if you think about that, I guess Sony would get like a cut of that from subs and whatnot, or rentals. Whereas this way, Rockstar can just, I don't know, I'm not sure how much coding is required or what is required to get it available and working on backwards compatibility on Xbox One. But I bet that way they're like, well, we're not like leaving a percentage of our sales to Sony. I bet it feels like a bit of a FU to Sony in many ways.
They have said that it's it takes no coding, right? That it's just a switch that they have to flick. I'm not 100% sure that's true because I would have thought they'd have wanted to get this on there to be announced at E3. I could be wrong, but that's that. That would be the sensible idea, to just suddenly announce that on stage and get a big applause for doing basically nothing. And also, it's been sort of in and out from the backwards compatibility list for a long time. So it's kind of like, why would this why was that happening? Why, if it was just a flick of a switch, then why wasn't that just slung on there?
Yeah.
But for me, I think Sony have this idea where they see that the backwards, like the back catalogue of Sony games and stuff is worth a certain amount of money. And if you start slinging games like Rockstar games on there for free, it would look stupid when they try and sell their back catalogue of games. Whereas I don't think Microsoft really give a shit. They just want and I mean, they're in a position to try and impress people and entice people over to Xbox One, so maybe that helps. But if they keep this shit up, like if all this goodwill stuff keeps going, then I can see the Scorpion being
Scorpio.
A Scorpio. I always forget. I can see that being quite a success, because I think over the next year, if they keep banging out shit like that and getting the Xbox One name out there in quite high regard, like building the reputation back up, I think when their next console comes out, people are going to be very interested in that. They're going to see value in that. The fact that you not only can you play your Xbox One games on it, you'll also be able to play a hell of a lot of Xbox 360 games on it.
Do you know what's really funny about this? I remember just before the Xbox One came out, when we did Joypod, we had a big conversation about this and how backwards compatibility
you brought this up before.
Didn't matter. And now you changed your tune.
No, you brought this up before. My point back then was it's not a system seller. What it is, like when you're launching a console, I don't think that's a point that's going to make people blow their minds. What I'm saying is that once you're involved, all that extra stuff gives you so much goodwill and it's great publicity. There's a difference. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
So I stand by what I said back then, but the fact that they've introduced it is massive. And I did agree with this. I would have much preferred if they put backwards compatibility in it from the start rather than focus on the Kinect video stuff. I love the voice control stuff, but the video stuff obviously has been shit. Like, it's been a failure. If they'd have focused on the backwards compatibility from the start, would it have made much difference?
See,
actually, I'm not 100% sure.
I really think it would have done, because I reckon if they'd have done that, it would have got a lot of people that switched to PS4 because they just felt there's nothing to lose from doing that. If you've got like loads of games already that you can play on it, it's not going to be a complete system seller, but I think it would have been something which would have slowed the move to PS4. Because
I don't know, because that had nothing to do with it, did it? The big wave of negativity over the Xbox One had nothing to do with the fact that it didn't have backwards compatibility, because the PS4 didn't. I think the damage was already done at that point, and a lot of people had made up their minds way before the consoles hit the shelves.
Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting, if this sort of becomes a thing that basically every generation, what's the word? Everyone just goes, right, let's not bother with backwards compatibility. And then whoever's on the back foot in a year or two further down the line, they then bust it out to be like, look, we've got backwards compatibility. And then suddenly that becomes a race that everyone needs to take part in.
I don't think that's the case. I think now that Microsoft have shown the advantages of having backwards compatibility in the way that they're doing it, I think people are going to have to sit up and take notice. And it's not going to be long until Sony fans are going to go, hold on, why the fuck aren't we getting this shit?
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Basically, Microsoft are doing the legwork now to get Xbox 360 and those sorts of games working on Xbox One. I reckon this is the last round they'll have to do, because from here on in, it's going to be like Xbox, Xbox One, Xbox Scorpio, and 360 all working on the same platform. They'll get this done now, and then every game from now on in, from here on in, will work on seemingly all the next few generations of Xbox. And I think you're totally right, Dave. I think Sony's sort of PS Now streaming experiment, which no one appears to be using, at least no one I know is using or talking about. I feel like streaming of games sounds like a cool thing, but ultimately, if people can just look at their library of digital games they bought in the past or use their old discs, that's a much more compelling proposition than just having to subscribe to a new service. And I think you're totally right. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you see Sony changing its mind and slightly adding in backwards compatibility to, especially if they are going to want people to upgrade consoles every 2 years, to give people this library of games they bought in the past. I reckon they're going to need to do that.
Well, it's not just that. It's also the fact that you've got the two competing services. You've got PS Plus and Xbox Live Gold. And you're looking at the PS Plus games that are coming out. And, okay, you get Vita games, you get PS3 games, you get PS4 games. But if you only own a PS4, you're only playing the PS4 games. Whereas the Xbox One, it gets two Xbox One games and two Xbox 360 games. Those 360 games play on the Xbox One. And we were talking amongst ourselves in our little group on WhatsApp about, like, why the hell would anyone buy an Xbox One now if you've got a PC that can play Xbox One games? And, most Xbox One games are going to be coming out for the PC. And I said, well, they don't give a fuck if you don't buy an Xbox One. What they give a fuck about is you signing up, because I'm assuming you need Xbox Live Gold to be playing games with your mates on Xbox One, if you know what I mean. They'll have that crossover service. You'll have to pay for that yearly. And I wouldn't be surprised if their next big announcement is Xbox 360 games coming to games with gold will also be play anywhere, like on your PC and all that sort of stuff.
It's like
that's a huge string in your bow.
Yeah, it's like with Steam on the PC. You can buy your Steam games through Steam. You can also, like, if you're a developer and you've made a game and you're putting it on Steam, Valve will say, right, how many codes do you want to give to people or to sell? Like, they don't care, really, whether you buy stuff through Steam or not, because they know if every shop is selling Steam keys, you're a fucking Steam user, whether you like it or not. And it's about having you in, like, it's just about getting people in their ecosystem. Like, they don't care so much where you're buying the games from, and it's the same thing with the Xbox. It's like you say, it's if you're on the PC, fine, you've saved them the trouble of selling you a piece of hardware they don't actually make much money off anyway. But you're paying your live sub and you're buying games through the Xbox Live store, which they get a cut of, so they're more than happy.
I think we're going to see quite a shift, and I think the big part of that shift is going to be the release of the Scorpio. I think that is going to be, I'm all for PS4. I love my PS4. I love how it runs games better. I love my PS4, but I think Microsoft might have a strong future, and I think they're making all the right moves at the right times. And I think because it will get to a point where console sales will mean fuck all, because Sony could say, we've sold 60 million units, and Microsoft will go, yeah, but look how many people signed up to Xbox Live. And it's double that, because we've got all the PC people that want to play all the Xbox, the branded Xbox games. We're going into a future that none of us can predict, because we've never lived through it. We're so, in terms of console gaming, we're so used to generations that in our minds, the PS4 started so well that the Xbox One was never going to catch up. But now we're not facing that. We're not looking to say, oh, the next Xbox might bring it back. We're now thinking, actually, they can shift this over the next year. And then with the release of this half-step console, or whatever you want to call it, like, that could really turn it on its head. I'm just really excited to see what Sony have planned for the Neo, because they need to come back with something here.
The thing is, as these things start to become more about, like, becoming a service, like you said, like Xbox Live, in theory, that should mean that Microsoft should be in a pretty good position for that, because they've got a lot more experience with, like, services than Sony have got. As in, like,
well, there's that, and the fact that fucking everyone's got a Windows machine somewhere.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Sony's never been that well known for doing, like, amazing, sort of like software. If you see what I mean, it's never been that great. Yeah,
I totally get it. And what other than the PlayStation can play Sony games? At the moment, you're getting PS Now on TVs. Like, my TV came with PS Now built in, and I can plug my DualShock 4 in and play it on that TV. You can buy, but PS Now is available on loads of different services, but it ain't fucking successful because no one wants to stream games. I mean, that's clear now. I think that's very clear. No one wants to stream games because the first little hitch you see in that streaming service, you're turned off. You don't feel as confident in the service anymore. And I think they're surprised by that. I'm certainly surprised by that, because when OnLive come out, I thought, well, this is the future. It's just not ready yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of thinking, well, if it's still not ready, maybe it ain't fucking ever going to be ready.
I think also people just like to own games. Like before, or still now, I guess, lots of people like to have like games collections. They had DVD collections, CD collections. I think people are now warming to the fact that they're actually happy to have a digital game collection. And with PS Now, you don't have that. You're basically, I wouldn't class Netflix as my film collection. It's just Netflix, whereas I have like tons of games from PlayStation Plus downloaded and some games from Steam, and now Xbox is building up a library. So I think people just like that and like having some form of ownership. They know about digital licenses and this and that, but I think they're happy just having that alone, and PS Now doesn't give them that.
And it was a pretty incredible feeling when Microsoft implemented the backwards compatibility stuff, and on your My Games and Apps section on your Xbox, it was like, wow, this is triple the length than it was yesterday. What the fuck? And then you scan down and you're like, I totally forgot I bought that. Oh my God, I haven't played, Geometry Wars in ages. But you download that and boot it up.
Yeah, it makes it really wish I bought more games digitally earlier.
It's weird, James, because I think you're right. Yeah, I did underestimate the power of backwards compatibility. I don't think it's a system seller, but now that there are systems out there, it is generating a lot of goodwill for Microsoft, and they fucking need that at the moment.
Yeah.
And if they open this shit up to PCs, then I mean, imagine Xbox 360 games that never come out for PC being play anywhere through Xbox Live Games with Gold. That would attract a lot of interest from PC gamers. I mean, you'd know more than I would, Sean. But to have that shit there must be, pretty exciting.
And I mean, the thing also about it is it's not even just like saying, okay, I've got this massive list of games that I'm probably never going to play. It's also increasing confidence in the platform as well, that those games are going to continue. That they're not just going to be like disappear forever. Yeah,
like when you purchase that, you've purchased it for life. I mean, you feel like that with the App Store on your iPhone, right?
Exactly.
You feel like, I bought this stuff, and when I get my next phone, I just press a button and it downloads the apps that I'm used to using and the ones that I've paid for. And that's what we were talking about. Like I was talking about moving over to Android, and I think that's probably the one thing that worries me the most. Well, there's a few things. There's the Twitter app, which I'm not too sure about. Which honestly, your mates need sorting out. I don't know. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fucking awful.
I know.
Yeah. They go, oh, here comes Sean complaining about the official Twitter app. Yeah, I'm with Sean. I'm fucking with him. Then there's the touch pay stuff, but apparently that's all in Android now, so that's pretty cool.
That's it.
But also the fact that there's a lot of games and apps that I use on a regular basis that I've bought from Apple Store, and they've locked me in. Weird. Very strange future ahead. Did anything else happen in the video game world this week?
Not that I'm aware of.
Fucking a lot of silence going on. How depressing. I was just scanning through a news website, and absolutely nothing, is it? Oh, No Man's Sky was only 86 gigabytes apparently.
Oh, fucking people complain about that, man. Jesus Christ.
Have you noticed anyone actually complaining?
What are they complaining about? I saw it went gold, and that was
well,
great.
They can basically. So the Hello Games Twitter account just tweeted saying, "Oh yeah, it's 6 gig and it's mostly audio." But
isn't that the point? Isn't that the point of the game? The whole
point
idea
is the universe fucking generates itself with maths. That's the fucking whole thing. So to complain that it's only 6 gig, fucking get a new hobby.
You cannot explain that without sounding like a massive nerd, can you?
There is that.
It just generates with maths.
It's like, it's the same principle as Elite, which fit on a fucking cassette tape, 20 odd years ago. So
yeah, but that, I didn't have great graphics, did it?
No, it didn't have 65 Days of Static on the soundtrack either, because they were all not born yet.
What have you been playing, Sean? What have you been playing?
I've been playing more Stardew Valley. I've been playing more Destiny, but Lord knows you don't need to hear about them.
I do need to hear. Have you actually left the farm yet?
Yeah, I want to hear. No,
not really. I'm writing a whole thing about how I just resent the town now.
This is so
Have you even
weird.
talked to the townsfolk, Sean? Have you even?
I've
I feel like you're just in your
started giving
farmhouse,
them.
That's it.
I've started giving some of them presents, and sometimes they're all right with it, and sometimes they're like, "Oh, thanks." It's like, "Oh, fuck off! You didn't tell me what you like. How am I supposed to know you didn't want some grapes? Go fuck
Sean,
yourself."
you've got to get out there and meet some people. It feels like you're just
I'm
in
all
your
right.
farm.
I'm okay.
It's
on
like,
your
Sean,
crops.
it's like Sean playing Fallout 4 and just staying in the what is it called, the sanctuary,
To make
and just
my own
building
little
his
fort
first house and just getting up
sitting
every
there.
morning.
Yeah.
There's this whole adventure out there, but no, I've got to do my crops this
Should
morning.
have sit in my
because-
tower and just snipe anyone who comes near. I had to go on RoboCraft. This is a game for the PC where you can build robots and then get into death matches with them. It is all right.
You build
can't,
robots and
like,
get to, what?
It's not like so when you go into the construction mode, you're like, oh my god, it's Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. But like, there's no physics on your robot. So like, if you put like a pair of legs at the back, and then it stretches about 10 meters in front of it, it'll just walk around quite happily.
That's annoying.
Yeah, basically, I just took like the basic robot that you start with, put as many lasers as I was allowed on it, and then absolutely tore arse in my first match. And I was
Is
like,
it
all right,
multiplayer or are you playing against AI?
no, it's multiplayer. Yes, it's online death matches and that. I don't know. Maybe there's more to it.
How can you not have physics in a game like that?
I mean,
Like,
there's,
I would
you know,
have
there's-
loved like a Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts type building thing with weapons on it, like
Yeah.
you know, robot wars, but with
So I'd be quite
Banjo-Kazooie
up
nuts
for
and bolts.
like, yeah, like a game like this, but where it's like actually sort of difficult to get something that moves efficiently. You know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, like everyone's just sort of fucking rolling around in these
And you know
stupid
how
robots
people
that
like
barely work.
mastered nuts and bolts and then created these, you know, like 20-foot robot things where you
Yeah,
they've got
things that even
boosters
the
for legs
devs are
and walk
like,
along.
that shouldn't be possible. Yeah.
Yeah, like imagine entering a deathmatch with your crappy little thing that you've done, and this huge robot thing just comes up and stomps on you, and you're just going to go, "Yeah, you're better at building things than I am. Well done."
So yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's free. I had to go on it. It was fine. I've also, but I forgot to put this in the plan. I've also been playing a shitload of Aliens versus Pinball, which is it's by Zen Studios, who do all of the pinball games.
Yeah, they're
Yes,
amazing.
Yeah, how about
Yeah.
that loads when PS4 first came out?
Yeah.
Matt, what was the thing's name? What was the ghost's name that you had to
Oh
find?
god.
Oh, that's gonna bug the fuck out of me.
Okay, I'll find out. Yeah.
Oh, he's not here. Yeah, go on, have a look. Go on. That's what they said, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, he's not in here yet. We're Casper, or whatever his name was. Go on. What have they done now? These crazy.
So this is on your phone. Oh, it might be on other things, I suppose. I've been playing it on my phone. Basically, yeah, 3 pinball. It's like £4.50 to unlock all 3 tables. You start off. There's an Aliens versus Predator one. There's an Aliens one, and there's an Alien Isolation one.
Okay.
I've spent most of my time on the Aliens versus Predator one. Basically, it's fucking wicked. It's just 3 absolutely solid pinball tables with loads of like weird, stupid ideas. Like playing the Alien versus Predator one, you're like the idea. Like it always amazes me how pinball tables always have like a beyond just it being themed a certain way. It's like, right, no, you're a predator, and in the film, like, he starts off, he's not got any of his weapons, and he's trying to find them in this pyramid, and that's what you're doing on this pinball table. You're like hitting certain things and trying to like get this guy all his weapons, and then that activates all these other modes and shit. And yeah, it's just slick as fuck. Plays really nicely, and like, I've only had a quick go on the Aliens tables and the Alien Isolation one. The Alien Isolation one's really smart. It's like, it seems to have this whole mechanic where I forget her first name. I know she's Ripley's relation, and she is something Ripley, isn't she? Ellen Ripley? No, that's
Ripley's
her. Fucking
Believe It or
hell.
Not.
Embarrassing myself. And basically, her and the alien are like moving around the pinball table as you're playing and activating certain things, like moves the alien to certain places and it's about like helping her avoid the alien. It's nuts, and it's really good fun, and it's nice to have a good mobile game that you just pay some money for, and then you've got it. Well done.
And then you enjoy. Yeah, they're like I'll never forget the first time that I wasn't really into pinball tables as a kid, but I do remember the first time that I started playing one on a regular basis, and the first time I realised that it wasn't just about hitting the ball and it hitting something and you getting a point for it. Like all of a sudden, the ball got locked, and then there was a mini game in the little screen above the table, and I was like, "The fuck? When is this? Why? When did this become a thing?" And then you look, and like that was pretty much the whole point in them.
We see, because the first time that clicked for me was playing fucking Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Color, because that was like I had this whole thing where, again, it was these mini games where you're trying to catch all the Pokemon, and it was like, oh shit! So it's a pinball game, but also they've added elements.
Yeah, but did you think at the time, oh, this is just a clever thing they've done with the game to make it more cool, or did you instantly know that this must be what normal pinball machines are like?
Well, yeah, it was sort of playing that, and then later going on to other pinball games and being like, oh yeah, shit, no, they've all got things like this.
Yeah,
like weird little hooks and stuff, and it's really smart. I just love the fact that for some reason, like pinball machines are like this, like they're their own medium through which people just sort of apply weird little mechanics and try and fit other things into. Like, it seems like such a strange thing to have endured the way it has, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And there seems to be like this mad craft about, like, they're one of these things that I always find, I'm sure there are bad examples of it, but when you see a pinball machine with a movie tie-in, it's usually lovingly crafted. Do you know what I mean? Like, you see video games with movie tie-ins, that's usually a sign that it's going to be shit. But then when you play a pinball machine based on a movie, like the vast majority of ones that I've played, I'm like, holy shit, they've actually put some thought and ideas into this. This is actually pretty impressive. Same with fruit machines. I found when I went to Vegas, and there was actually like Slimer coming out at me when I hit 3 Bill Murrays in a row.
I should say, I was tweeting about Zen Studios because I've got a lot of respect for them because they seem to just keep, like, that's all they do. They just do this one, like, pretty niche thing, like, really well over and over again. Got a few tweets from, I think he's a listener, Cami Toman at Co-Mutiny, who was basically like, no, he's really into his pinball, basically. And he says, if you really know what you're on about, you'll be playing the Pinball Arcade instead, which is apparently by a different team who are, like, they're sort of proper recreations of actual pinball machines. And apparently that's much better. So I've got that downloaded, but I've not had to go yet.
Yeah, but is that like when like a mate of yours who's way into their music goes, no, listen to this band, they're much better. They're technically much better, and you listen to them and you're like, fucking hell.
Well, I mean, the thing, his sort of analogy was basically, it's like comparing actual golf to crazy golf, and that, like, yeah, it's nothing wrong with it, it's still really fun. But if you're really into your golf, you would play actual golf. And I get that because, like, all the the Zen stuff, they all have elements to them that only work because it is a computerized version of a pinball table. But I really like that because I really enjoyed, I don't know if you ever played Flipnik on the PS2.
No.
That was like, it was a pinball game, but again, it totally knew it was actually a video game. So you'd get these tables where you'd hit the ball in a certain direction, it'd land on some rails, and then it would just like fly off to like another bit of the pinball machine was like another island floating in the sky somewhere else, and it was just all this mad shit that it could only do because it wasn't real, So I really appreciate that stuff, but I understand if you're an actual pinball nerd, then maybe that's shit.
Do you know what computer game would make for an excellent real life pinball table?
Go on.
WarioWare.
Yes.
Yes, it would, wouldn't it? Yes,
just constantly firing new shit at you.
Exactly. Get involved, Nintendo. Let's see it for the NX.
To be fair, yeah, that's something that's happened this week. Fucking Pokemon Go's come out and it's bigger than fucking Tinder.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because when Chris Span said to me today that the stock market went up for the the shares went up for Nintendo. and said it was based on this app, I was like, nah, it can't be. There must be some sort of inside information that's been leaked out that they're going to announce the NX soon and people are jumping on board. But then when I saw the figures, I was like, maybe not. That's pretty impressive. What was it, 1.5 million a day they're making from that?
Something ludicrous like that, yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
It is crazy because from what I've seen as an outsider, from what I've seen of it does not look like something I'd ever want to do.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I'm not massively fussed mainly because I don't like the idea of like traipsing about with my phone out and stuff.
Yeah,
like, if I'm
exactly,
going to go for a walk, I'd rather go for a fucking walk and actually take in what's happening around me instead of gawping at a screen. But that's a pretty daddish thing to say.
Right, Grandad.
Yeah, I'm totally dad.
Jeez.
Pure dad.
Should be Instagramming it, Sean?
Why don't you go out and enjoy your life? Put your phone down.
Never done anything from those phones.
The other thing is I don't want to get mugged or discover any corpses.
Well, yeah, but you can be fighting crime, Sean, like that woman in America.
What was that? What was that?
What
was that story?
A woman found a corpse after playing Pokemon Go. She stumbled near a corpse and found a dead body.
It was in a river or
just by
something,
accident.
Just by like a lake or a river, yeah.
That's pretty depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, so that happened.
Just chuck a Pokeball at it just in case.
I was going to say, I hope she's got a screen grab of just like a fucking Pikachu stood next to it, just posing on the corpse's rotting head.
Someone died.
Yeah,
but basically, there's loads of people just talking like this is the new Pokemon game, and there's like shops have had to put up signs saying no, you can't come in here just to play Pokemon Go unless you bought something. There's one guy who, for some reason, his house has been set as a gym. So everyone's like, there's loads of kids just hanging around his front garden. He's like, what the fuck can I do? Like, it's
weird,
ridiculous.
and I am wondering how long until companies ring up Nintendo and say we'll pay you this amount of money to make our place a Pokegym.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I'm in trouble because my actual office that I work in is a gym.
So I haven't downloaded this yet because I know it's out in America and whatnot. And I could use my US iTunes account, but I can't be bothered with the hassle, so I'm going to wait for it to come out. But so I've never played a Pokemon game before either. I know this isn't one, but what?
You know, there's just
never
the
played a Pokemon
revelations
game
keep
before.
coming, Matt. It's like
You've never played a Pokemon game?
No, just never bothered with that.
How?
There's
been a billion of them.
Do you know, at this
Well,
stage, it'd be
never
easier
bothered.
to like knock off which games you have played. It's like
That's why catching up was such a good series. I was never bothered with one. Anyway,
I mean, the
What's
good
the deal with
news
this?
is they're all the fucking same, so just pick one and have a go. Some people get really upset with me saying that. I think they're all the fucking same. But this one is. Are you familiar with?
I'll listen to Owen. I'm sure Owen knows the best one. I'll ask him.
Owen would know that sort of thing, wouldn't he? Go on. Sorry,
It continues.
sly dig there.
That's a sly dig, Dave.
A slight dig.
Are you familiar with Ingress, Matt?
I only feel referencing it because it's similar to this game. So new.
Right, yeah. Well, it's by the same team, and all the sort of the points of interest on the map are just lifted straight from Ingress, which presumably just lifted them straight from Google Maps or whatever. But
So what's the lowdown like? What I've heard about gyms. I've heard about stuff.
yeah,
Talk
so you
to me.
you load it up, and it's just like, right, there's you on a map, and there's like you have this sort of indicator that just sort of gives you an idea of like how close the nearest Pokemon is, and then you sort of if you're a real nerd, you can figure out the maths of how to like triangulate where the Pokemon is by going like, right, if I stand here, walk this direction, the signal gets weaker, I then need to go like turn 180 degrees, go back, and then go to the halfway point, and then turn 90 degrees, and then walk in this direction. If it goes weaker, then it's definitely in the other direction.
Right, this sounds good. Sounds like my sort
Yeah,
of game.
it's top shit. Basically, you can just wander about and keep an eye on your phone, and occasionally you go, look, here's a Pokemon, here's a Rattata or whatever, and then you tap on it, and then it goes into this, like, you know, this AR view where you can see the Pokemon in real life, and chuck Pokeballs at it, and maybe capture it.
Brilliant.
And then you get loads, I think something like you level them up by just getting more of the same one, I think, or something like that. I've probably misunderstood that. Don't shout at me, audience. And then basically certain like points of interest. So it seems to be like churches, shops, restaurants, schools, stuff like that are marked on the map as gyms, and then you can just turn up and be like, and throw your best fighter at it, and then somehow there's like you can be the champion of a gym basically. And like, so who was it? It might have been in the WhatsApp group, Dave. Someone was saying like, can you imagine like being the champion of your school?
Yeah, no,
and
I know
getting
what you're
fucking
saying.
beaten up, but in some ways,
No,
that'd
I
be
know
quite
what you're
cool.
saying. Like that would be something that we would be doing if I was in school now, definitely.
Yeah.
But then, like, I'm really surprised by how that's done, because there must be so many like pit holes to fall down with places like you're sending these people. Like, what if it just accidentally picked like a knocking shop or something?
Well, that's the thing. Like, surely this could be used for evil.
There's already been
Oh,
reports
yeah.
of
It's like say people are getting mugged.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Well, explain that story, because maybe some people haven't heard it.
It's literally, obviously, potential thieves have just looked at it and gone, right, here's a good spot to get a rare Pokemon, and then just lay in wait while hapless nerds wandered around with their fucking phones out.
Sorry. I know
Someone
that's
likes
not
that.
particularly funny, but it is just quite funny. I just said, yeah. Sorry.
I've never heard James so happy. The joy streaming out of his pores to create that really weird sound.
It's like a kid on Christmas Day. It's just pure unbridled joy there from James Farley.
The idea of people wandering up to some place with their phone out because
just
they
getting
want a rare
mugged.
Pokemon and get.
Sorry.
James, man, you need help.
I don't know what. I mean, it's just the idea of like these like nerds just like walking into like dangerous places. You know, just going, "Oh, I can go and get a Pikachu," and then like that happens. It's just quite funny. I'm a horrible person. Yeah, move on.
I like how your nerd voice is so close to your own voice there that it was hard to tell the difference.
But Sean, you're still
Yeah,
playing this, and you're enjoying it.
Well, I've not. I mean, I've got it. I've not really messed with it that much, to be honest. Like it's. I don't think it's really for me for the reasons mentioned before. But it is really cool that like loads of people are like, right, I'm off out for a fucking walk. Like,
I can't believe how many
like
people I've seen on
people
Twitter
who-
saying, I'm just going for a walk for Pokemon. I can't believe it's
Yeah.
absolutely exploded. Like, every single website I've seen seems to be writing about it, guides, there's a million memes. It's gone insane.
Yeah. And it's like, like I say, maybe just go for walks anyway, guys. But, yeah, I mean, fair enough if it's getting people out of the house.
Yeah, it's getting people. I've read other pieces who have written about it helping their mental health because they're getting out of the house. They're not afraid. They're not staying in bed all day because they're depressed or upset. They're actually getting out, and it's amazing if it's starting to do that sort of stuff as well.
They should be
Well, if
afraid.
it
It
helps
could be a
one
mugger.
person in that. All right, James.
He's getting
I mean, if
ideas
it helps
now.
one person like that, then that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I just got this horrible feeling now that the NX is actually just going to be a pair of hiking boots or something. Do you know what I mean? Hiking boots and a torch.
Well, after all the money that Pokemon Go's making, NX can be whatever the fuck it wants now, I think. Doesn't it?
True.
So how's he making money? Are there ads in the app, or is it in-app purchases?
There's in-app purchases, yeah. I think there's like items that increase your discovery rate of Pokemon, and there's
Haven't you got
have to buy-
Isn't there? You've got a limit to the amount of Pokeballs you've got or something.
Yes. Yeah,
And
you
you
have
could
to buy
buy
more.
extra Pokeballs. So potentially you could spend all of your, you could use all of your Pokeballs in a day, or Pokeballs, whatever, and then find a really rare Pokemon out somewhere and be like, oh fuck's sake, and then have to pay.
Hey, speaking of in-app purchases, what else have we played, lads?
We unlocked the shop, Sean.
We did.
We unlocked the shop. So last night, due to Matt's request and Sean's recommendation,
Pure Gotti.
what's it
Yeah,
called?
Lost Reavers.
We downloaded Lost Reavers, myself, James, and Sean played it last night, and whoa mama, that is a poor video game.
Right now it's
You in?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, come on, this is it. Mission
Adventure
start.
team. Let's have it.
I cannot wait.
No, if you said it was
them
right.
fucking frame drops, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Are you getting lag as well? 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
getting
big
a lot of
time.
lag. See, also, it's just not in any way satisfying hitting stuff, is it? It's
No.
just, you know, I deleted Star Fox for this. It's, you know,
Wow. This is as bad as it gets.
I ain't playing this anymore. I'm going to bed because this is awful. It's
But what if you unlock
utter
good
waste
mode?
of time.
This is a Wii U, right?
Yeah.
It's Wii U
Go.
exclusive, Matt. It's
Okay, well, I might nip out and buy one now.
You probably should.
Go on then. Talk to me. Was it the best multiplayer experience?
Speaking of nip out, do you want to explain your characters that you picked?
Fucking hell, Dave.
What?
Oh, I see. I thought you were doing a different joke.
Oh, Sean. Come on, mate.
Right, so me and James were playing as the... I'm just going to say this now. The game tells you that she's the easiest character to play as, which I assume. Well, certainly the reason I picked her.
She's certainly easy, Sean.
Bollocks.
It's,
She's a Japanese schoolgirl with a school uniform. The thing is, the school uniform doesn't have a skirt or trousers.
yeah.
It's just a shirt and some leggings.
That's how it went down in my school.
and some
Go on.
underwear. She's wearing underwear. It's
Oh, she's wearing underwear,
James
sorry, yeah.
checked like a perv.
Well, no, both James and Sean picked the same character, and I refuse to believe it was all because it was the beginner class. Come on. Come on. You wanted a cheap boner while you were playing this really, really poor game. Don't get me wrong, that's why I picked the blonde girl. She took my fancy.
She was
But,
strutting
she
the
wasn't-
stuff she was. She was amazing.
She weren't a
She's wearing
schoolgirl.
half a
Yeah.
pair of trousers.
This is what was amazing. My character was so sexy that she still wiggled her ass to the camera when she was on fire.
Yeah, that was the best bit.
So,
Oh, so for those who missed last week's show, what sort of game is Lost Reavers?
What sort of game isn't it?
it's like a third-person action RPG. So you basically, it's a third-person action RPG. You have melee combat where you can kick and punch and stuff, and you've got guns where you can shoot. The problem is like. But being serious, like, but put my critical head on, it's just not fun to play. Like, I mean, the enemies are really sort of, they'll just keep hitting you. They don't do anything interesting. There's no real interesting thing about the combat. Like, as Sean was saying last night, there's a punch button, but there's not like, if you tap it more than once, she just keeps doing the same punch over and over again. And then we soon discovered that you actually unlock combos and stuff, but we've not really tried that stuff out yet. So it's still very early on. But because everything's stitched together in such a clunky way, it's not actually fun to play. And then coupled with the fact that the levels are just... So the idea of a level is that you go from area to area, clearing the rooms, then you pick up a relic at the end, and you've got to take that back to where you started. But the problem is that each area is separated by stupid loading times. There's nothing interesting to see in each area. It's literally just they're kind of just blocks of rooms with enemies in them. And there's just there's no weight to the combat. There's no feeling of actually doing anything in it other than just slamming a button until everything's dead. And it's just absolutely no fun whatsoever. Looks like shit, and the netcode is appalling because the lag was just a stuttery mess. It was one of those games
booted
where
James out at one point. That was good.
it booted
Just
James out
crashed
a
on
couple of times. I kicked a guy about 3 times, and it didn't react to me doing that until about 5 seconds later. And it was I mean, it's co-op online, but there's no reason for it to be co-op, because it's not like James had to do something while we defended him, or James was taking this guy down and we were helping him by doing this. There was none of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a bit of that, but it is just literally like buttons you have to press that take 10 seconds to do. It's just you have to stand by a thing and press a button. So
yeah, but it wasn't like, I mean, someone just went and did that. It wasn't
it wasn't like coordinated,
point,
like, right, fucking you go and do this now.
Exactly.
Just
At
made
no
this
point did
opportunity
you
for
turn
you,
around
or,
and go, I'm going to use this button now, or I'm going to try and unlock this thing now.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, it was like, oh, look at what James is doing that thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, good, he's done that. Yeah.
And as you said, so when we got to the end of our first level, you pick up a relic, and one of the characters has to go over and pick it up and put it on their back. And when they've got it on their back, you can't attack. Like when you're carrying it, you can't attack. And we thought, oh, that must be a good game mechanic, like where so we have to protect them, or maybe the relic can do something as well. No, if you just put it down, kill everyone in the area, and then pick it up and move to the next one. It's just like,
just a
what
pain
is
in the
this?
arse.
What is this?
I mean, throughout the whole game, there's zero tension. Like, there's no feeling that anything is going to happen. I mean, the worst thing with that loading is like when you pick up the thing at the end. You know, the what was it called? That thing.
Relic.
David, help me out.
Yeah,
here.
the relic.
Yeah, the relic.
Sean
That's the
just
one.
said it.
Yeah. You pick that
He
up.
didn't want to hear from you then, Sean. He just wanted my confirmation there.
You pick that up, and then like you go, like you're supposed to go back, you know, where you've already been. But like these levels, like some of them, like David said, they're just literally a room, and then there's like a loading screen between each room, but it's just a room, and it's like there's nothing in it. And it's like some rooms, literally there's no fighting at all. But then also, you know, you put the relic down and fight. There's no tension. It's awful. I was annoyed.
It's
that
just
we had to
weird.
play this.
As I said last night, why is this out? Like, how is it out?
Yeah.
I don't understand what this is and why it's doing. Like, what are they hoping that it takes off? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It is just baffling. I don't know why it exists.
It seems so dated. Like, even from the ridiculous over sexualization of the characters and stuff like that. All this stuff just seems like we're past this. We're beyond this. I don't understand why this has come out. Like, I'm playing another game at the moment, which is absolutely appalling. But I understand I know there's a horrible reason that it's been released, and I'll get to that. But at least I get why they tried to release it. This, I'm just like, why? Why is this out? I don't. It's not like it's on the front page of the Nintendo store either. Like, they're exactly not exactly proud of it. So I just don't get it. It's weird, very, very strange. The only thing that I can think is that it was going to get canned, and maybe it's next to nothing to put something on the Wii U store these days.
Well, you'd hope so by this point, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so that they just thought, well, instead of canning it, let's just put it on the internet, and then hopefully someone will like it and spend money in the shop.
It surely must be costing them money to just like keep the servers running or whatever. It can't be
I
worth
don't think
it.
they're very good servers.
Well,
I think they're running that off a fucking PS3.
When we were searching for games, there was like hardly any games running, was there? There was like nobody playing it.
There was 3 rooms.
Yeah.
3 rooms.
But the whole world.
Sean said, "Oh, you can't set up private servers and private match," and we went, "I don't think that'll be a problem." And there it was. We went search game, Captain Toss's room. There you go. Straight.
We did have a friend. We had a friend join us, Emma 61795 or whatever it was.
Yep. If you're listening,
ace.
Emma, there you go. The funny thing is that if her username did indicate that she was female, she was playing with 3 blokes, playing as women in the game, and she was playing as a fella. So there you go. Crossing boundaries, isn't we? Holding hands out.
Yeah,
all for one for all, as the Stone Ruses said. Right, okay, can we stop talking about this game?
Yes.
Good. Matt, what have you been playing? I'm very excited this week to hear you talk about the game you've been playing.
Hello, I've been playing Life is Strange episodes 2 to 4.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I when I was doing my Uncharted streams, it was basically this was actually on sale. All 5 episodes was like £6 or £8 on PSN. So I bought those. I played episode 1 fairly soon after that, and I really enjoyed it. But then, stuff got robbed and whatnot, and now I'm just going back to it now. And I started episode 2 over the weekend, and then I also raced through not only episode 2 but also 3 and 4, and I'm going to do 5 tonight or tomorrow. But I'm really enjoying it so far. How much can we spoil?
This is what I was going to say. I mean, if it's my shout, I would say let's go for it. But should we just do a spoiler bot?
Better add, yeah.
All right.
Right. So we're gonna spoil Life is Strange. I haven't finished the game yet. So do you think it's worth waiting until until I finish the whole lot. Then we do a bit of the spoiler thing. Okay.
No, because we've done a spoiler cast for this, haven't we?
We did did Midnight Resistance do one?
I think you did. Yeah.
Were you on it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Right.
So spoiler bot.
Word up.
You all right?
I'm all good.
Yeah. Well, can you tell them how far to fast forward to miss all the spoilery Life is Strange chat?
Life is Strange. That's proper old.
Yeah, I know. Just people are mental.
Fuck them. Just spoil it.
Yeah, I know. Just trust me. How long?
11 minutes and 40 seconds.
Cheers, mate. All right, I'll see you later. Are we still on for Friday night?
Hell yeah. I'll bring the beer. You bring the bitches.
Yeah, all right. I'll see you then. Right, okay. So we're safe now. Let's because there's a lot. I mean, what did you make?
There's a lot to unpack.
First?
So I haven't finished a whole lot. Episode 1 I thought was really good. I know it's widely regarded as the weakest episode, or it's a fairly poor start at least. I thought it was really good. I liked the soundtrack. I liked the general sort of vibe of the game. It's certainly interesting. I think the most interesting thing was definitely that sort of tornado thing and her sort of visions. If there's one thing I'll say so far, I haven't finished a whole lot. I'm going to start episode 5 soon, but I'm really disappointed that there hasn't been a lot more about the tornado stuff. This might be a bit of a weird thing to pick up on.
Crack on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what can you say?
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
Exactly.
So, yeah, okay.
That's
so I
what
guess
I would
it's all
say.
going to kick off in episode 5. Yeah.
No, what I'll say is that what I assume James means by what can you say is that there's a tornado coming. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And there is a point to it, but it's that's all you need to know at this point.
Yeah. So, but no, it's been good. I've certainly enjoyed sort of seeing the story unravel. I must say it hasn't blown me away. So how highly was this regarded when it came out, and how desperate were people to play like the next episode, and was it a real huge thing, much like Walking Dead season 1 was?
It was eventually.
For me, it was. Yeah.
I mean, it started out like we all played episode 1 and we were like, there's potential, but and basically everyone like it was like this amazing turnaround. Like nobody could believe like quite how much better it got, or so we thought. But I was surprised to hear you really enjoyed the first episode. Like I thought because you enjoyed the first episode that you would like a total shoe-in to just adore the rest.
Yeah, I feel like it hasn't. I mean, I've enjoyed it. It hasn't blown me away. I just feel like I love like the cutscenes and stories good. But when someone's like, "Oh, can you find the ingredients? Can you go here?" I'm like, "Oh God, I've just got like go and
finding the fucking bottles
hit X
and stuff
on every single inch of the room to see this." And it's like the dialogue's quite slow. I feel like I wanted like a times 1.5 speed dialogue. That was really slow, and I like
really.
Yeah,
I didn't find that at all.
I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah, I just found it slow, and it's like when like you were like rewinding to redo a scene, like the scene where you meet Frank outside his RV on the beach, and you basically sort of navigate the conversation to essentially get to a point where you don't stab him in the leg or shoot him.
Oh yeah,
and you got to get the account code or account keys, whatever. I had to do that for ages because I was navigating through all different possible ramifications of the conversation. And it's just so slow to keep rewinding.
Oh God, I've just had a thought.
What?
I totally forgot. You're probably the worst person ever to play this game because you can't decide. You can't decide anything. Like you're a fucking nightmare when you've got to make a decision, and like. With Walking Dead, it's like, make the decision, you make it, and then you stick with it. This, it lets you rewind it and keep going back. So there's at no point, you must have been there for hours just going, I don't know, I'll think about this one for a bit. I'll write up a spreadsheet on what I think might happen, and we'll go from there. Like... You're a nightmare for this stuff, Matt.
I'm bad at decisions when it comes to money because I'll need to make sure I'm making the most out of my money. But for this, I haven't done that as much. I've done it when it felt like when it's necessary. But yeah, it's really interesting. And so obviously we're going to spoil this because we're in spoiler bot territory. But yeah, so episode 4 finished last night about 2 a.m. because I had to get it done before today. And yeah, the bit right at the end where it's obviously the teacher has been injecting women and stuff. I thought that was a brilliant end. I thought episode 4 had a really, really strong ending.
Yeah,
did you see that coming?
I didn't know. I mean,
most
I guess
people didn't.
Okay, right. So most people didn't, right?
Yeah, but it's actually really smart the way it's communicated through his photography.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, fantastic.
Basically, like in episode 1, I mean, he makes a few weird comments anyway, but basically, because he's like the star tutor of the school, because he's like an actual famous photographer that they got in to teach this class, there's like tons of like posters with his work on it and magazines lying around and stuff, and basically it's all like really creepy pictures of women and like men of authority sort of standing over him and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's all sort of signposted.
And like when you go into Nathan's room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah, there's all these really creepy photos.
Yeah. I saw all those black and white weird pictures on his wall. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's going at the time. She's going, oh wow, he's actually a pretty good photographer. And of course, they're not his photos, like that. Yeah, that totally makes sense. But it's better at that stuff than you think, and you will always find one guy that goes, "Oh, I thought it was so obvious that it was him," but you just ignore those people. Ignore them.
Yeah, I mean, so I hadn't finished the story. I did think, okay, it's not going to be Frank, because he's one of those people who's probably just misunderstood. He's actually like a really nice, genuine guy, and he loves his dog and stuff. So I didn't think it'll be him. I didn't think it'd be related to him. Again, I haven't finished it. That could all change. I absolutely loved it when you were going back in time and sort of trying to stop the dad have the car accident. And then you actually went to it. And before they opened the door, I was like, okay, one, either the daughter's dead or she's in a wheelchair, and it's a really amazing moment when the camera's like clearly at a low angle from Chloe's side, and you're like, yeah, bang, she's in a wheelchair. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, but it's still quite shocking though, isn't
it?
Yeah,
it's definitely shocking. Yeah,
it's right.
You expect her to be in a wheelchair, but not like completely,
completely paralyzed,
as bad as she is. Yeah,
that whole bit, like until you go back into like into like the real timeline or the previous timeline, the constant one. The whole scene was like is super tense, but I also wasn't 100% sure if all the things that I'd seen before were real or not. Like when we're talking in her room, lying in her bed and watching Blade Runner or whatever it was, I was like, am I supposed how much time has passed? Is this literally like, I was a bit confused about what had happened, what hadn't happened, and how much I was supposed to have known about the current timeline on it. I was a bit confused about that.
I think that's intentional,
like that whole,
right?
Yeah, I mean, that whole bit with Chloe, being, in the wheelchair and stuff, that is, I think you're just supposed to take that as its own little pocket, like it's a timeline that you then just reverse anyway.
Yeah, because the most confusing thing...
none of it's real.
Yeah, the most confusing thing is, well, obviously, I went to... I knocked on the front door and I'm like, oh my god, we haven't seen you in ages, or should be happy to see you. And I was thinking, like, did I see it yesterday, or have I been at university college for ages, and it's the first time I'm seeing her? I was like, and that affected massively the huge decision at the end of that scene, where you can basically like, give her enough morphine or whatever it was to kill her, or not kill her. And I was thinking, okay, if I've been like her friend for years and years, and we've seen each other every day, that would give me a really, really different decision to make. Versus I've been away for years and I haven't seen you, and suddenly, I'm seeing my old friend from school. So I really wasn't sure about.
I still think that's intentional though, because that sort of indicates the sort of different timelines. That not only. Like, because you don't know that timeline. You're in a completely different timeline. You only know the timeline that you've experienced. And then when you find yourself in there, it is confusing and completely... And I think that starts off with, that scene opens up with you sitting with all the popular kids. And I think that is to really make you go, hold on, a lot has been different since that moment.
Well, yeah, because the fact that you're one of the cool kids implies that you might have been one of the people bullying Kate as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and all that sort of stuff. So it does really put you completely a fish out of water, and I think that's totally intentional. As for that, because we were texting each other about this on Saturday night, weren't we? And I said there are two moments where you can find out if you're a wanker or not. The first being if you save Kate in episode 2, then proven wanker. And Matt, you saved her, right?
I saved her, yeah.
And you said why does that? And I said, Matt, how did you know what family member to pick? And he said, well, well, no, I just knew it wasn't her mother. And I went, well, how did you know that? Well, it was in her email in her room. Well, you mean you checked her emails in her room while she was crying on the bed after telling you that she's being bullied? Is that what you did? You just went on her computer, did you, and read all her personal emails?
I did.
And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, I tell you that. I did that loads, actually. I was like, I would put in distressing situations. I'm like, can I just check your laptop?
And the other one, actually, there is a third one to find out how much of a wanker you are as well. But I can't tell you about that one until you finished it. But there's also the fact that if you let Chloe die or help Chloe to die in that scene at the end of at the start of 4, you're in her house with her mum and dad outside outside her fucking door. Like, don't kill her. Don't kill her there.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, did anyone do you know anyone who's actually said yes to killing her?
No, we all said no, right? If I remember correctly.
No, I euthanized her.
Did you?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Sean.
Partly because I knew I was going to just disappear.
Were you like David Cameron walking back to the to number 10 today? Like, just go after you walk out the room.
I might have told this story on a podcast before, but it's been a while, so why not? My brother had a mate whose little brother had like genuine problems. I don't know if he actually did or if he just had a pretty fucked up sense of humour, but basically when this kid he was only about 7 years old or something, they were doing an English exercise, and basically the teacher said, "Oh, like if you'd found out that like the world was going to end, what would you do?" And kids, most kids wrote sensible things like, "I would see my mum and dad and my family or my friends, or whatever." And this one kid just wrote, "I would go out and kill someone because it wouldn't matter." That's me apparently.
Oh my God.
I was just like, do you know what? Like, whatever I do, obviously this isn't the real timeline. Chloe's saying she wants killed, so...
It's fucking messed up. Also, what the fuck kind of school does that to... What did you say, a 6-year-old?
Yeah, he was only like 6 or 7.
He could have just got the question confused. That happened to me, and I'm sure I've told this story before on a podcast, but I definitely have actually. I was in RE, I was in religious education or whatever, wherever it's called back then. I was probably like 13 or so. Oh God, actually, that's probably old enough to do better. Whatever. I was 13, and everyone had to be sat in a big circle, and and the teacher said, "Okay, write on a bit of paper the thing you're most scared about happening in the class." So I wrote my thing down. Everyone was like a room of 30 kids writing down the thing they're most scared about in class. You would then like fold a bit of paper up, put it in a hat or whatever. And then there was a jumbled round, and everyone would grab a bit of paper and then read out the thing that someone else was most scared about. It became apparent really early on that I'd made a huge mistake when the first few answers were things like reading out loud, scared of that. What I'm scared of, like handing in homework late. I'm scared of being late for class.
I'm scared now. What you're going to say?
Well, my heart's actually going just thinking about it. But so it comes from Michael Copping from Manchester. It's like a northerner down south. Don't know what he was doing there, but whatever. Loudmouth guy. He read mine out, and mine was terrorists coming in and killing all the kids. That was what I was most scared about. I took it too literally, it turns out.
Fuck.
And yeah.
What did they try and find out who actually wrote that?
I don't actually remember. Hopefully, I must have blacked out, whatever. But I remember like becoming incredibly hot around the face area. I was probably going incredibly red. I certainly didn't tell anyone that it was mine, but clearly the whole class
you
knew
were just
that
like
there
a
was
massive lighthouse.
Yeah, clearly at that moment,
Beacon
everyone
of
in the class
shame.
knew that there was some mental kid in the class who took it way, way too literally. Yeah, so it could have.
So life is strange.
Yeah, life is strange. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really excited to see what happens in episode 5. I'm not blown away by just having to go around and sort of collect clues and stuff. I'm not enjoying that as much. And obviously, I love the
some
Walking
of that
Dead
shit
series.
is bad.
I mean, Walking Dead series felt like it did a lot less of, go around the edge of the perimeter of the room and keep pressing X. It felt like it did it better, or maybe less of it. I don't know. Either way, I'm getting a little bit bored of it in this series, but I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing what happens in the last episode.
It
what
certainly had a bit of that
this
Walking Dead,
Life is Strange feels more like an actual world, if you see what I mean, I think, than Walking Dead does. Like Walking Dead
it
really
definitely
feels
does.
more like it's a game, whereas this feels more, not real, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think. I mean, some of the dialogue is just totally embarrassing. Go fuck yourself, etc. I like what they try to do. At least one game is trying to sort of tap into sort of teen culture or whatever. I quite like that, but it's a bit embarrassing in places. What they said, I mean, you maybe won't say much because it might spoil the last episode. But is there going to be a series 2? Have they said they're working on it? Are they
not been mentioned yet? Has it? And after the E3 stuff, I was fully expecting something to be announced actually. But that was later when I was thinking,
They're working on some vampire game next, which looks
great,
a bit shit.
Oh, right, okay.
I want that.
Well, it's got like melee combat and stuff, and it's not really their thing, is it?
No.
I know that's not fair. They did Remember Me, which I hated, but everyone else seems to like. So
yeah, I didn't mind that. That wasn't too bad. It had some interesting ideas. But I will tell you this. I'm going to
get this finished for next week, definitely, and I'll talk a bit more about it.
Cool.
But after episode 4, we had to wait 2 months for episode 5.
Yeah.
Oh my god, crazy!
That was a killer. Let me tell you, that was hard to deal with. I remember playing it that night when it came out and just like avoiding everything. Like they used to put trailers out of the new episodes before they come out, and I was like just adamant that I was never going to watch one of those because what could you possibly get out of watching a trailer like that, other than hints to what it's all about, and I didn't want any of that shit. So, yeah, I liked that.
Would you make of the soundtrack, Matt?
I really like it. It's definitely up my street. It's sort of it's. I mean, this is probably an embarrassing admission, but I'll do it anyway. The Twilight films, right? Not great films, but the soundtrack's always really brilliant. I found loads of really amazing artists from them, and this is sort of similar. It's not quite as good, but it's right up my street. It's sort of it's that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know. It was just we sort of varied. Like there were some of us felt it was a bit like, look at us, we have picked cool bands. Yeah,
I definitely know some songs that are a bit like it feels almost a bit obvious. I don't know.
Yeah. But still they've tried hard.
No, I commend them for doing something different, and they've done that.
It fits with the themes, doesn't it? It fits with the style of the characters in it and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of the original stuff is really nice too. So
I love the soundtrack. I thought it was brilliant. It's one of the most memorable things about the game for me. Actually, I can still hear it in my head. It's like bits of it. It's
really.
I really love even the title music is really good. When I hear that, we're getting ready for the next episode is really good. So I'm probably gonna make a start on that tonight.
Cool. Episode 5 is going to be it tears people. This one. Right. Some people really like it, and some people did not like it as much. I think I really liked it.
We talked about it on Dark Calls, didn't we? It was an episode that we lost where we talked about the whole game, and we had a big argument about the last episode. I think it was it was. Yeah.
Okay, we'll save it. Fine.
Yeah, but I must say, up to now, I wish there had been more of the sort of science fiction-y sort of tornado and stuff. I'm a bit disappointed there's been less of that, and obviously, I would imagine there's a lot more in episode 5, but wish there was more.
Yeah, there's a load of stuff in it that I got really into. There's a YouTube channel called Geek Remix, which is 2 ladies who do Let's Plays and stuff, but they also do a lot of like theory videos about various games, and they did shitloads of Life is Strange ones, and I basically spent like an entire afternoon just watching all their stuff, and they tied loads of it in with this Native American Hopi prophecy, and like that all, like loads of it fit with what was happening in the game. I was like, fuck, this is really interesting. I can't wait for this to be explicit and actually become part of the story, and it just never did.
Oh, that's a shame.
Which, I mean, I was sort of like, well, why should I be annoyed that actually they've just left it as like a thing for people to notice and pick up on, and just be like, oh, okay, that's quite clever, rather than it being explicit. But
I'm really looking forward to like a realistic version, and I guess David Cage's next one is, well, I guess David Cage's games up to now have been the more realistic version, but we've had obviously Walking Dead, we've had the other sort of the comic book one. I can't remember what it's called, but another cell shaded.
Wolf Among Us.
We've had like sort of the fancy ones.
How has David Cage's stuff been the more realistic?
I was thinking, have you played Fahrenheit?
Sorry, I mean, it's more adult, maybe, if I can say that. I don't know. It feels a bit. I know Fahrenheit goes.
You do
ridiculous.
see boobs in it, yeah. You do.
I know, yeah. So I'm just looking. I want like this is obviously a teen drama essentially. But I would like a proper serious, like, you know, True Detective style thing, but done in this way. It'd be interesting to see what happens. But
I'm gonna have to send you. What is that game? Until Dawn.
oh yeah, okay, definitely.
You that's
basically just a slasher flick, though, isn't it?
It's not realistic. It is like a cartoon, but you'll be so surprised by how that approach works a lot better than you'd think, because you go from making decisions as one of the characters to making the decisions to try and have a better story, if you know what I mean. Like, so yeah,
you go from being a character in the story to like the director.
Yeah, like, so the example.
Like, what sort of film do you want to see?
Example, there's a bit where you would like, you're close to a friend and you see your friend's girlfriend cheating on him, and it gives you the option whether to tell him or to just keep it on the download for a bit. And usually I'd probably just keep it because I don't want to upset my friend, I don't want to ruin the holiday or whatever. Like, that's the decision I would usually make.
Don't want to ruin the holiday. Wait till you get home, then tell him.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Like, it was.
Wait till
that's just. It's probably a weak example, but like, I was thinking, just, you know, don't upset your mate at this point. He's going through enough. To, you know, keep it to yourself until, you know, the right time or whatever. But then, as I was playing Until Dawn, I was thinking, actually, I want it to all kick off in the house now, and for all these characters like fall out. That would make a better scene. So that's the option that I chose, and that happened, and they all nearly fought each other. And that, so I was never backing one of the characters because it's full of wankers, but the enjoyment you get out of it is making them turn on each other and all this sort of stuff. And that's what that game's all about. It's fun, and it's really fun.
But do you not think by playing it that way, you don't really have an investment in you or one character, and therefore it's not as powerful if some things happen?
You lack the investment, but in something as silly as Until Dawn, it's not missed. It doesn't need investment. It just needs it needs your choices to have good results, and that game absolutely nails that side of things. Yeah, and I said I wrote an article for Spong a while ago that I thought it was a real missed opportunity to be sold as a multiplayer game, and not physically an option in the game to play it 2-player. I'm talking get 3 mates around and sit down with it, and then make the decisions, like pass the pad around the 4 of you, and make the decisions as you go and discuss them as you go, because you'll have so much fun doing that, to see what you all chose like pan out in front of you. It's a really good way of playing that game. I did it with my brother, and he don't play games, and we were gripped. So, it's good.
I was just thinking, like, I mean, imagine what these games could be like in a year or two with VR. You know, if you're just standing up.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
No, if you're standing up and like there's Life is Strange sort of stuff happening around you, and that could be amazing. Anyway, no, okay, it could be amazing.
Could be, couldn't it? Right.
Why would that not be amazing? Why would, you know, playing like a game like this not be quite interesting if you're sort of...
No, it's just your thought process that gets me. At the moment, it's like everything, that could be so good in VR. Matt, it's Pong.
Yeah, but this is one of the few, like, sort of, you know, game styles that would be perfect for that, you know. You're standing having a conversation with other randoms, other characters.
I will say this. I think... I'm more excited for performance art in VR than I am computer games, because I think that could offer a really interesting way of engaging an audience. So like a film or a theatre piece being played out around you, that's not being spoken about enough, I don't think, because that could be really interesting. Because I know it sounds ridiculous because, you know, don't turn on a lot of football and that, but I love the theatre. We go to the theatre quite a bit, and I think that would be an excellent way of having like a new perspective on performance art. Like, I'd like to see how someone takes that and adapts it to that style.
I've watched some sort of VR movie, there's short films on it. There's this VR app for Google Cardboard called Verse, VRSE, and you can watch like the short films, which are really, really engaging, considering it's just, you know, Google Cardboard. But you can also watch SNL monologues from within the audience or on stage, and that's really interesting seeing people come out on stage and do some comedy, and you can just stand there and watch it as if you're a member of the audience. So
yeah, they're saying that might be they might try push, because that would be great if Sony were to get some sort of, or Microsoft when the Scorpio comes out, that they'd be able to get some sort of like ESPN on board and stuff, and you'd be watching football matches in the crowd or fucking on the bench, you know what I mean? That sort of stuff would be really, that would be really good. Anyway, aren't they doing that? Didn't they do that they were doing test runs on ice hockey or something?
Well, I know they're filming every NBA game in VR now, and I think they have been doing it for a couple of seasons, I think, at least. So, there's probably loads of NBA stuff to watch.
The only problem is that they found was that people were watching the VR streams from NBA games, but because they've got to put like a big stick, like 360 camera up, they found that they were sitting watching in their seats while everyone around them was like waving them at them every now and then, because like people see this like camera and they're just like, people ruin everything.
Anyway, Life is Strange VR will be off the hook.
Right, the game that I've been playing that certainly isn't off the hook is Carmageddon Max Damage, and this has to go up. Right, how do I put this? I'm probably going to just read out my review, essentially. It's an offensive game, and you expect that from a Carmageddon game. It's always played on the fact that it doesn't give a fuck and it's offensive, and I think there is room for that still in comedy. I think there's a place where something is so offensive that it becomes absurd, so it's not really offensive anymore. It's not that vicious. It's not that vicious offensiveness. It's the word cunt sprayed across a billboard and stuff like that, and stupid phrases for everything. You know, if you hit someone from behind, it says, "Oh, take it up the backside" or something like that. You know, it's that sort of shit, and it is eye-rollingly stupid. But it doesn't really get the tone right. It doesn't either go too far. Like, it's either got to go so far that it's absurd, or not far enough where it's just like I said, a good example of how that sort of offensive humour is done right, or that I don't give a fuck what you really think of me humour, was Bulletstorm, right? So it had some stupid shit in there that you would expect people to be more offended about, but because of the style and the tone that it chose, it worked. And, you know, as stupid as it was, as some of the lines were, and some of the writing was, it was absurd enough to get a laugh, you know? This kind of misses that, but it still manages to offend, because I'm genuinely offended that this is being released. I'm genuinely offended that they're asking for £30 for this. It's absolutely diabolical, and it's a game that solely plays on people going, "Hey, Carmageddon, I remember that. That was funny. I'll buy it. Thanks for your 30 quid. We've put fuck all effort into this. It plays like shit. It's not fun to play. It looks like shit. It's a disgrace. It's a fucking disgrace that this has come out."
So is this a Kickstarter game?
No, wasn't this originally like a PC game? Like, it was, they released it, was it like last year or something like that, and then this is like a revamp of the PC one?
Not that I'm aware of. Everything that I've read, because I've been doing some research, and no one has mentioned that. Because I genuinely thought it was a HD remake of a PS1 game or something, that they'd tarted up a PS1 game. Or I think it was Gary Dutton was watching me stream it, and he was like, "This is literally Carmageddon 2. I mean, it's got the same assets, it's got the same look. Like, I'm pretty sure that the town's the same." So I looked it up, and there was no mention of it being a re-release or a tarted up version of a game that had come out before. It's stunning how bad it looks. I mean, we're talking pre-free. If it wasn't in HD, you would say it's a PS2 Xbox original game. It looks that bad. There's fog everywhere. It stutters. It drops frames constantly. The damage of the cars looks cheap and nasty. The pedestrians, or PEDs as they call them, look like something straight out of State of Emergency. And I was saying, like, if you're going for that lo-fi look, if you want to hold back on making it incredibly impressive graphically, fine, but do something with the power you're saving, because I can't see where why I don't understand why my PS4 is struggling with this, because it struggles. It drops frames. It takes an age to load anything. Like, the loading times are disgusting, and it's not like the streets are littered with these low-res characters, like these low-res pedestrians. There's only a few of them, but like, they're not everywhere. So where is the power going? Why is the fucking console struggling with this shit? I mean, it reminds me of Goat Simulator, and you let that off because it's supposed to be shit. Like, that's the point. But at no point does this feel like it's supposed to be shit, and at no point is it any fun to play whatsoever. The car handling is fucking awful. It's not fun to use. And the further you get into the game, the more upgrade tokens you pick up, the more you can spend on newer cars and upgrades. But at no point was I playing a game that felt fun to play. It was a pain in the arse to turn corners. You were constantly skidding from left to right. You know that thing that really, I think it was the N64 era, that racing games really struggled to try and keep cars in a straight line using an analog stick. So you'd move it over to the right, but it would sort of skid too far to the right, so you'd move it to the left to try and straighten up, but then it would skid over to the left, and you'd just snake along the thing because like your car couldn't straighten up. That's got this. Like, that's how this game plays. Like, every time you turn a corner, you're like, please don't let the physics fuck me up and I'll have to restart. It's ridiculous. There's like 3 game modes in it. There's one game mode where you have to smash up every other car on the track. That's awful because the cars handle like shit, so there's no strategy behind it. It's just like keep bashing and hopefully you'll pin it against the wall and that'll cause enough damage to blow it up. Then there's races that are just too long, too boring, and the AI of the other cars on the race track are just embarrassing. They'll just go off and start driving around, and it just makes no sense. And the last one is actually a decent game mode, but and I could see myself having fun with it online if the online worked. But so what it is, it's like a King of the Hill thing, sort of. Like, it's just checkpoints pop up randomly, and you've all got to race to them, and that's it. It's kind of fun because it's it feels like a free for all thing. It's got online multiplayer, but you can't play it. I've looked 3 or 4 times. This game's been out now for nearly a week, and there's 3 games being played on the PS4 of it. Most of them have no other players in the room, and when you go to join, it just says lost connection, and then you boot back. And so you create your own game, and no one ever joins you, which is why I'm assuming no one's joining these 3 rooms that are available. Don't buy it. It's £30, and Trackmania is £15, I think, on the PS4.
Yeah,
and it's
like
one of the best racing games I've ever played, and it is dripping with pride and with effort and hard work, and it runs like a dream, and it's fun to play. It's half the price of Carmageddon, which is a shameless cash-in that I'm actually furious that anyone's actually buying this thing, and I don't think they are, but it's awful. It's awful.
So I just had a look and at like what the background of it is, and it was a PC game originally because it was one of those ones. It was called Carmageddon Reincarnation, and it was funded on Kickstarter like originally.
Yeah, I thought it was a Kickstarter one.
And apparently this Reincarnation was supposed to have loads of DLC that was going to come later, but then they kind of scrapped that and then just made max damage instead. Yeah, they just like
classic.
They sort of just like enhanced in inverted commas and then released max damage. And apparently PC owners are going to get this for free if they've already bought Reincarnation, is the thing.
Well, don't download it if you're getting it for free because it's not worth your hard drive space. It's fucking awful, and it is. I mean, that just confirms it. This feels like a con. There are certain games that feel like a con. Devil's Third was shit, but it didn't feel like a con. You know what I mean? It felt like a crap game that they'd built and put out, and it wasn't very good. This feels like how can we make some money easily? Let's do a shit port to PS4, and it's out there now, and people will buy it because they like the brand. They liked nostalgia for Carmageddon when they played it, and they were shocked by the first time they played it, and it was all over the news and whatever. That's what they're going for there. it's fucking outrageous.
Yeah, I was quite a fan back in the day.
This sounds horrible and this sounds harsh or whatever, but I can't believe it. I literally can't believe this game was released on next gen consoles, and I was even more blown away when I saw the asking price for it. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up.
It's another one of your favourites as well, Dave. It's like a Kickstarter game. It's which is like
when you remove risk from a project, then who knows what state it will be released in. Fuck it, we've made our money. Let's put it out.
See, what also sucks about this is that this version is coming to like consoles like exclusively for like a period of time, which means the people that originally invested in the PC one, because they for the Kickstarter, aren't going to get the full game for like ages until they eventually release it. It's kind of insane.
I don't think they'll be really bothered, to be honest with you. If they played the PC version of it, I don't think they're going to be crying out to get it on their PS4 or a newer version of it. I can't imagine anyone playing this and recommending it to anyone, or trying to defend it, saying it's a good game, because it fucking isn't. Genuinely made me angry. Genuinely made me angry when I was playing it.
So you're saying wait for PlayStation Plus?
Oh no, what I'm saying is it'll probably be pretty good in VR, Matt.
All good. I was about to say.
James, what have you been playing?
Well, I haven't actually played a huge amount. I mean, the main thing I played is Lost Reavers, which was obviously amazing.
The main thing you played? We played it for an hour last night. That was it.
I'm busy at the moment. I've got a lot of things going on. But the other one, I'm finishing my thesis at the moment. I've got to submit it in 2 weeks' time.
You fucking nerd. I'm finishing my thesis. Just stick on a fucking video game, you prick.
Well, I did, because I stuck on Pocket Arcade Story. Have you any ever heard of this?
No.
Okay.
Is this one of the Microsoft ones?
You remember like Game Dev Story?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Basically, it's obviously from Microsoft, and it's pretty much the same in the sense that this time you open an arcade, and you can like.
Oh my god, I'm buying this.
Yeah, it's also. I mean, it's like you said about what game was it you were talking about? Was it the one where you can like it's one of those old style games where you buy it and you've actually you own it. It's not like free to play or anything, which is really nice.
Sorry, could you go over that again, James? What? So you pay money?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
You pay money before you download it,
and then
what?
And
why
then
would you
get this, Matt? You don't have to keep giving them money. It's to like continue.
That's unbelievable.
It's crazy, isn't it?
In 2016, wow.
I
think
like
now,
bullshit.
and it is 27 quid. So bit harsh.
But yeah, so basically, you open an arcade. It's the same as Game Dev Story. You can like name it, and then you like name your assistant and everything, and then you can you have like the floor plan, so you can like arrange where you want to put your arcade machines. Then you can do the usual things like attract people with flyers and TV campaigns and stuff.
James.
Yep.
Did you say that you can name your assistant?
Yeah.
I was stuck on that.
Okay. So, what did you name your assistant?
I don't remember actually.
Oh, James,
Come
you
on.
do remember.
I don't remember.
How can
You
not- How
do,
can you
don't
forget your
lie.
assistant?
I don't remember honestly. Hang on, let me have a look.
Do you name your arcade?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What's your arcade called?
My
is
arcade
it
is
James's
called-
arcade?
No, it's called The Pit. I thought it was I don't
Oh,
know.
fucking hell, you are such a 90s
Love
child.
that. Love that.
The
Really
Pit.
busting all the stereotypes about
Yeah,
games.
that's
as
going
well.
to attract loads. That's going to attract a healthy,
To be fair,
diverse
it's
range of
because-
people.
I just watched the video on YouTube about Pit Fighter, and I was like, oh, okay.
I called it Cool Zone.
Exactly. It's got like a 90s theme to it. But
The
I
Pit.
called my arcade Babe Station.
He was sitting there thinking, all these little digital characters are going to be like down at ringing up their mates, going, you down the pit today?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm coming down the
Pit
pit.
at 7.
I'll see you down the pit.
yeah.
I'll be by Simpsons Arcade.
Yeah.
What?
Simpsons Arcade game. It's a classic.
Yeah, no, it just come out of nowhere.
Go on, James.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
Well, you say the Simpsons arcade game, but there's a game in here that Matt would love. They've got the claw game, for
Fuck off, James.
Oh, excellent.
I'm not
I
joking.
just fill it with the claw machines and just call it Matt's Hell.
Matt's Pit.
Matt's Pit. Go on. What's your assistant called?
I can't remember, honestly, and now I've just opened it up and it doesn't tell me. It's
How
Do you
convenient.
get to
That's
choose a male
bullshit.
assistant
Oh,
or a
wait a minute.
female
No,
assistant?
hang on.
Bullshit.
You don't name the assistant, you can choose what they look like. I was wrong.
Oh, God.
Oh, here we
It's
go.
even worse.
But, you can
What
name your
does-
arcade, so that's the good thing. You can
No.
give it a cool 90s name or
Did
whatever.
Did you choose a male or female assistant?
Yes, you can choose the gender, yeah.
Yeah. What did you choose?
What do you think?
James, man, you're fucking demented.
Anyway,
You're the only one that I know that sexualised one of the animals in Animal Crossing.
I never did that.
Yes, you did. You told me that you fancied the Belle, the woman that helped you as a mayor
That's not
What?
or
true.
mayor.
No. There
Fancied?
was another one. No, we're not going to get into
Another
this.
one.
It's messed
How
up.
many are there,
It's-
James?
I feel like we are going to
How
get
many are
into
you
this.
fancying?
James is a massive.
No, it wasn't that
pervert.
one. It was the other one. She was well fit.
No, do you know, there was. I'll tell you what. There was. I had that whole thing where I lost my Animal Crossing. Like the game,
Save,
I
yeah.
put 2 years into that, and it was really sad because
Into
there's one
that
of the characters
relationship.
in that I'd grown very attached to, and then she just left the village one day, but it was all right
God, this
because
is
I had
sad.
the picture. Like you get like a
Oh, God, it
picture
gets
if you've been
worse.
playing it long enough, and so I just left that in my room.
Is that a picture in your wallet now, James?
What is it, like Cliffy B?
Yeah.
Carries it around with him. Oh, Jesus. James Farley. There he is.
Okay.
Wow.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah.
but you're enjoying the game.
Yeah,
You're enjoying the pit.
You having fun in the pit?
it's amazing.
Cool.
But anyway, so then what happens is you open up the thing, and then also the players that come and play in your arcade, they sort of like level up as they play your games, and then you can organise tournaments, and you organise tournaments against like other arcades, and then you get money. I mean, for some reason, your arcade gets the money rather than the person who's like competed in the tournament, which doesn't really make sense. And you have to play this it's a kind of bad mini game called Road Fight 2. I think they were going for like Street Fighter 2, but it's a fighter, and you have to like press the buttons, like at the right moment, to try and make attacks. But then apparently later in the game, you have to also develop hardware and software so that to keep your arcade competitive. So I think it's a bit like Game Dev Story in that sense. It's like you develop newer games, more
Nice.
people come. But the only thing I don't like about it so far is it is quite slow to start. It's, I'm not got that far into it, and it's just, it's not that fast.
What are you playing
Their
this on?
games are always like that, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
What are you playing this on, James?
This is on iOS, but it's also on Android as well. It's
I'm going to get this. If it's on iOS, I'm going to get this, definitely.
Have you not played a Microsoft game before, Matt?
Yeah, I played Game Dev Story. I absolutely loved it, yeah.
Yeah, it's cracking, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was really good. I tried the football one I didn't get on with, and the F1 one I didn't get on with. But not for any fault of the game, I don't think. It was probably just me being grumpy or just not enjoying that style of game at that point. But I mean, as far as I'm aware, most of them are enjoyed by a lot of people. So, I mean, you could be cynical and say, well, it's the same formula every time, and it's always the same results. Like you'll never fail at these games, really, will you? But it doesn't matter because they're quite enjoyable to play, and they've got some nice little touches to them. So, yeah, I haven't got a problem with those games.
£4? I'm not made of money, James.
It's £3 something, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's a bit-
just wait.
$3.99.
There you go.
Just wait a year. Just wait a year,
That's how they get you.
Matt, and you'll get James to buy you one, right? Surely.
Fine, yeah, I'll wait, yeah.
You can
Once
just-
we're playing F-Zero on our DVDs on our NX.
That sounds more ridiculous every time you say that. What
Right.
have I done?
Okay, that's what we've been playing. Let's do a few questions and get out of here.
Okay, so we got emails first. We got, hello podcast. I'm the avid listener of the show from Iran. I listened to the Joy Pod before. My favourite podcast, RIP Egg. Anyways, the question of which is the best way of introducing a friend to gaming, do you not think is VR? I've just bought the Vive and Brookhaven. Makes me very excited. So immersive. David brushed over briefly, but I felt I had to reopen immersive topic to the debate. Yours, Human Mohseni, Tehran, Iran. There you go.
Well, amazing we've got a listener from Iran. That's incredible. For a
Yeah.
kick-off.
Was it legit though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think it's legit? Is it bad?
Are you a bit suspicious, David? You know, have you read
The
it
name
yet?
on the email doesn't match the name on the account. I know
Also
that.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what got me
But
thinking.
hey, if you are from Iran, then I'm terribly sorry for even doubting you. What was the I didn't quite catch the question though.
Basically, does anyone care about, is VR something to talk about? Please, can we not start talking about VR again?
I think VR will be something that everyone is very interested in. Like, it's the sort of thing that when people come over that don't game, I will show because I know that it will blow their minds. I don't see it as something that I'll use on a regular basis for myself. You know what I mean? Not at this stage, anyway, in my life.
So someone at work brought in their Vive to the office, and
They're what?
Oh, sorry, they're Vive, and an email went out around the whole business saying, if you want to go, it's in the downstairs kitchen, and like tons and tons of people went there, like loads, and all day people were saying, oh, the Vive's amazing. Like, these are people who don't really play games that often, or just there to give it a go. Like, it blew everyone away. I think you're probably right. I don't think these people are going to rush out and buy one or start gaming suddenly, but it's really interesting to see how much everyone, like the managing director, loads of people who aren't into gaming, they all tried it, all thought it was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking legitimately in my architect's practice. We're looking into getting an Oculus Rift. Yeah, because I mainly for promotional purposes, but also because we believe that getting a handle on it at this stage will really help us. Because there's no doubt that this stuff will be used for planning.
Hell yeah, in architecture, definitely.
Right, yeah.
Exactly, and we've got one guy learning the Unreal Engine at the moment, and literally in the Unreal Engine there's a button to convert your 3D models, so you can create 3D models in 3D Studio Max, which is what we use. You can export it to an Unreal Engine to make it a 3D space, and then press a button to make it Oculus Rift compatible. So it just makes so much sense. I mean, I've been pushing this for a while, but it just makes so much sense to get an Oculus Rift into, even just when they're going to expos and when they're going to, show off or show off to a client or whatever, and just to crack one of those out and say, this is what the building would look like. So I'm hoping to lead that project and get that to a point where it blows. Because what I want to be able to do is create a 3D space of what the town looks like or what the area looks like where you were looking to looking to do the building. Do the building, says the man that works in architecture, but looking to build whatever. And then press like a button on a control pad, and then for like the building to sort of just like materialize in front of them. That's what I want to work towards, and I think that's totally possible. And for someone to see that could be really, really exciting and a bit of a game changer for us. So, yeah, I can see an appeal to VR. Don't get me wrong, I'm not down on it. I just don't know if it's going to be something that I'm going to play video games on a lot. You know what I mean?
I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but yeah.
Yep. Next question.
Okay, tweets. Ms. Rangers says, your longest exile from gaming. For me, it's between PS2 and 360 Switch. Lost my mojo and didn't game for 4 to 2 months. Got it back and got the 360.
I don't think I had a genuine break.
Yeah, me neither.
I had a break from console gaming. I can't remember what was out at the time, but I was playing a lot of Unreal Tournament, Quake, and Midtown Madness. What was the bike one? Motocross Madness. I was playing a lot.
Motocross Madness, yeah.
A lot of that stuff, and Grand Theft Auto 2, shit like that. And then I remember getting my N64 down from the attic or wherever it was at the time, and just thinking, wow, this is so much simpler. Why am I not playing more console games? And never looked back from there. I've certainly been through phases with games where I felt like I was forcing myself to play them. Like I would buy the latest games, but never get anywhere near the end of them. Plan for a few hours and think, I'll trade it back in. Or where I never felt that I was properly into it. And I can't remember what game. It was probably Crackdown that really sort of slapped me in the face again and said, no, that's not true. It was when Xbox Live came out, when started. That was when it really kicked off for me.
I think the only time I had this was when I stayed in China for a year, like on my own, and I couldn't take consoles with me, so I only had a 3DS and an iPad for like the whole year.
Yeah,
that wasn't so good. Yeah.
See, I've wondered about this. Like, just thought, like, could I do all right on handheld stuff if I had to?
You can. It's just not fun.
Fair enough. No, I'd always thought, like, it sounds like a miserable experience, but it's probably not as bad as I think. But I assume what you're telling me is that it is.
Well,
it is that
you
bad.
You do miss out on like a lot. I mean, it's having the iPad made it a bit better because then I could still play some stuff like The Walking Dead and stuff. But then you just
right.
The 3DS was brilliant. I had a great time, especially that's when I really got into Fire Emblem, and it did give me the chance to get into stuff like that maybe I wouldn't have given the same amount of time before, which was nice. But still missed the other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Matt,
I think I definitely calmed down when I was at university. I had consoles, but I wasn't on them anywhere near as much, obviously, because I had other things to do. But like drinking, I don't mean uni work. So yeah, I've calmed down, but I've never had a full break. I've always had a console or two in the house, definitely.
Cool. Right, next question.
Okay, this is from Trendthrifts. He says, has there ever been a good underwater level in any game? Haven't listened to the Inside Ep yet. Apologies if covered there.
Funny you should say that. I was playing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and it has a very, very, very excellent swimming level in the game.
Actually, that's interesting because when you started saying Donkey Kong, I was thinking, yes, the underwater bits in Donkey Kong Country, the first one on the SNES, were excellent.
They were good, mainly for the music. On this, there's one level that plays with all sorts. It plays with electricity, it plays with light, and it's got some like neon lighting, but then there are bits where it looks like Limbo, so the lighting's so strong behind you, you just see in the outline of Donkey Kong swimming, and then the background becomes really dark and the foreground becomes really light, and suddenly the background lights up and you can see this huge fish head looking at you, or an octopus and stuff like that.
Sounds terrifying.
It is, and it plays like Nights into Dreams rather than like usually it's just a real sort of pain in the arse to maneuver a character. I mean, notoriously Mario, I really don't like Mario underwater levels because of the floating momentum that he's got. The way it's done in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is it feels like they're flying, basically. It feels like Nights into Dreams but underwater. So if you know that feeling, Nights into Dreams now, where if you circled the analog stick right the way round, the character sort of followed it, and that felt really satisfying for some reason. That's what's in this, and it felt really good. It really refined and everything. The only thing I didn't like is it had the Sonic-esque bubbles that you had to keep going back to.
Oh no!
Yeah, and they're littered throughout, so it's not really a problem. But if you miss one, it is a bit of a pain in the arse. I don't like that. But other than that, really good.
The obvious answer here is surely the water temple in Ocarina of Time.
What that is, isn't that widely regarded the worst bit of the game?
I was joking. Yeah, I was joking. It is horrendous. It's a nightmare that I still have flashbacks to this very day. Echo the Dolphin was good back in the day.
Was it?
Oh, does that count though? Because that's not water levels, is it? That's just a water game.
Yeah, one big water level. One massive water level.
Speaking of Ocarina of Time, the Water Temple, I played that as a kid. I never remember having any trouble with it.
I just remember it being bad. I don't remember it being like so hard I had to quit. I just remember it was just really laborious and it wasn't fun. And
Shame.
Real shame.
Shame.
Next question. Come on, James.
Shame.
Okay,
Yeah, come on, mate.
Would you like to
Keep the
endorse
pace
my
up.
CSGO gambling website?
Did we mention this? I think I might have cut this from the podcast last time because none of us knew what it was about.
We did. You just didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, we did.
Did I cut it?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, fine. No, I know what it's about now, and that is, it's pretty bad, isn't it? You were talking about this on Midnight Resistors, but I don't think you made it clear that the guy actually owned the website. So that made it even more bad.
Don't blame me. Chris and Owen explained it. I just let them.
Yeah, and I think they alluded to it, but they didn't make it explicit that these guys actually owned the website that they were promoting, and yeah, and all that sort of stuff. It fucking dodgy, but I don't know. I don't know if whatever people need to say about it has already been said at this point, haven't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so I will promote your gambling website as long as kids can play it. Next question.
Okay, Phil Nicklin says Stardew Valley is the best Harvest Moon game. Do any other games supersede the series that inspired them in the same way?
That's a good question. What was the first sort of farming style game like that? What do you think?
Well, Harvest Moon was the one that kicked it off. That's what I was saying. Like Stardew Valley has basically come along and just done what Harvest Moon has been doing for ages, but much better.
Yeah, but wasn't the question what was the first type of game like this? Or
no. The question is, what other examples are there where like one game has come along and done something that another series is famous for, but done it much better?
Oh God!
You could think of like
I can't think of that off the top of my head.
I just think of like Wolfenstein and Doom. You know, and that. I mean, obviously, you know, it's like that's like a progression. Is this just like the same? This is also a progression.
Well, no, because Wolfenstein and Doom were the same team, whereas this is just someone else has come along and.
I would say probably. I would say probably Until Dawn, as we were talking about it earlier. That feels like that come along and did everything that David Cage wanted to do, but better.
Oh, I'd argue that things like The Walking Dead did things that David Cage wanted to do, but better.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think that's fair as well. Yeah, because that came out way
Skate basically buried Tony Hawk overnight.
Yeah, but I don't think that did what Tony Hawk did better, because it didn't feel like the same sort of game at all,
different.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, what do you think about? I think like Banjo over Mario 64. Because I know you're like a huge fan of Banjo. Would you?
I am, and it's a difficult one, really, because I think I loved Mario 64, but I grew to love it even more after, like later in life, and going back and looking at it and going, actually, this was pretty amazing. But then I go back to Banjo-Kazooie and say, this is pretty amazing as well. I don't think I'm confident enough to say that what Banjo-Kazooie did was what Mario did, but better. Put it that way. But it was a fucking good game. It's just always that big argument. Like, if you say, like I always said, I prefer Banjo-Kazooie to Mario 64, and I always got shit for it. But I guess I still stand by that. I love that video game. It's really good.
Banjo-Kazooie was so special. So good.
I just remember it.
I mean, another one. Not that Zelda has ever been shit, but it was quite surprising the way Okami came out of nowhere and just was like, well, I mean, it came out not long after Twilight Princess, and it was better than Twilight Princess. So that was pretty astonishing. It's also 10 years since Okami came out. Did you know?
I did not know that. The other game that is sort of probably controversial to say, but the Tomb Raider reboot seemed to do a lot of what Uncharted 1, 2 and 3 wanted to do, but it seemed to have done it better. Certainly the combat was miles better. Mm-hmm. So maybe that sits in that camp, but maybe not really.
Well, you can go the other way, couldn't you? You could say like the Uncharted games from the Tomb Raider inspiration.
I don't know if you go back.
Been a bit of back and forth.
Yeah, but if you go back and play those older Tomb Raider games, you realise how that comparison was not as good as you'd first think.
I don't know,
because those original Tomb Raider games are so different.
Yeah, but
they're different to what Uncharted and the new Tomb Raider games.
The incredible dialogue between the T-Rex and Lara was. I remember that when I was younger. So emotional. Oh wow.
Should we do one more?
Yeah.
We'll do one more.
This is tough now because I'm going to have to choose something.
Oh no, sorry, have we made it hard for you?
You have made it difficult for me, and I'm not going to forgive you for that because it's kind of annoying.
You give him a job. How dare you?
Well, can I do a multi-part one?
What? Just what? Yeah, whatever.
All right, okay. Indiana747 says, the most emotional response to a game I have ever had was tearing up at the prologue of The Last of Us. Was due mainly to the fact that I was in a bad place at the time. My question to you guys is, what game with an emotional storyline would you like to see get the HD remaster treatment? I like that one because it's like, lulling you into a full sense of security and then, hits you with it.
Fuck's sake.
I mean, emotional, surely that's Skate 3, right?
Yeah, that had an emotional storyline. Skate 2 had a more emotional storyline. Because it was 3/4 through the game you actually found out. The game started, you were let out of prison and you had no idea why. And then it just turned out it's because you tried to skate down this dam. I was tearing up, mate.
That day. Oh,
yeah.
Don't want to end this on a bummer, but
I'm sorry.
have you anyone? Do you have a game that you link to an emotional moment? Not so much an emotional period of your time, but emotional moment. Because I've been thinking about this recently, and
I think so.
So my one was Civilization on the PC.
Wow, that is so not a David Turner's game.
Yeah, I can't. I
No,
didn't think
it's
you'd ever
not.
played
But
that.
when I was younger, I was
A bit of a nerd.
really into. No, I was really into those sort of games. I was really into. It started off with theme park and roller coaster tycoon and stuff like that, and then it was just anything really that had things where I would build stuff and try and manage bars and that sort of stuff. And I remember playing it for ages. What was that? What was the other one? Was there one called Utopia where you were on a spaceship and managing a spaceship with loads of little aliens in a sort of RTS style?
Yeah. Sounds
I
familiar,
think it was just before that, actually, I was playing Civ. And I remember my mum coming into the back room, and my granddad is my hero, and she told me that he'd had a stroke and that they had to go up into London to go and see him in hospital. And they walked out of the house, and I did nothing. I sat there playing Civilization, as if nothing had happened. And now I can't really look at that game without being taken back to that point, and I don't think I can ever play that game again. Fucking weird.
Yeah.
I think, you read that stuff about people using games as a sort of comfort blanket or a way to get away from a realistic situation. I think that's what happened, and it wasn't intentional, and I hated myself for a long time after that, because I kind of thought, Jesus Christ, you just got told this stuff about your granddad and you just sat there playing a game for the rest of the night. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, because it's just your head's gone, well, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
So
that Sean, that is exactly what it was. It was, I can't deal with that, so now I'm going to see what my little dudes are doing down here. Fucking weird, man, when that happens. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people because I've read a lot of articles on it and stuff, and that is a fucking weird moment. When you emotionally link yourself to a certain game through something that happens in real life, it's fucking weirds you out. So anyway, thanks for living it. It's not happened though.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I felt the need to share that at that point.
That's good.
I just got a bit sad.
No, it was good.
There you go. Right, should we end it there?
Yeah.
Can do.
Do you want to lighten it up with the social media stuff, man?
Should we do one more question? We can't end it like that.
Okay, let's do
you
that.
want to do a quick one?
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
the
go
last
for it.
one, James.
No, it's boring.
Okay.
I'm going to do, from Man Puncher, Pokemon Go or Pokemon No?
What? We've spoken about Pokemon Go. Do the last one.
There's a whole ton of ones here about Pokemon Go, though. It's a
We've
hot
spoken
topic,
about
David.
it at length. Go on.
All right, okay. You want me to do the last one, yeah?
I don't know. I've not seen it. I don't know what's good, but I trust Matt.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, with my life.
Okay, no, right. Okay, Dave, right. Transters has a tweet. The second part of it is, are you excited for Mafia 3? Now, I've never played a Mafia game before, but Mafia 3 looks amazing.
Thank God you said this, because I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time.
Don't thank me, thank Transters.
It's been I wasn't thanking you.
Okay. This is what I was worried about, because now he's going to go off on one for ages.
You played Mafia 2, right, James?
I've never played it, no.
I've been very vocal and very boring at my the amount of love I give that game. I'm aware of that. I bring it up a lot for what was, a half decent sandbox game. I fucking loved Mafia 2, and the more I see of Mafia 3, the more incredible it looks. I'm really excited for Mafia 3. I love the angle they're taking with it. I love it because it's not a hey boys, I'm growing up the ranks now, boy. I'm sleeping with the fishes. See? They've actually taken.
We were talking about racist accents before.
they've actually taken a sort of something that a traditional gangster film would never have approached when they were popular, and brought the sort of racial tension from that era into it. And I'm really excited to see how they handle it. Whether, as good as Mafia 2 was, it was a bit clumsy in some of the stuff that it tried to do when it approached things like race issues and stuff like that. But when you make it the focus of the game, you can't drop the ball with that. You've got to be so confident that you're getting the tone right. But I think that they might have nailed it, because looking at the stuff in the game, like looking at all the previews and trailers and stuff, there's not one that makes it look lame. There's not one that makes it look like it's missing the mark. I'm fucking well excited for Mafia 3.
Gameplay-wise, are they like GTA games?
Yeah, but they're more they're more like a linear game set in an open setting rather than a sandboxy style. Go anywhere, loads of things to do, loads of shops to pop into. It didn't really have that in Mafia 2, but it was set in an open world. So it kind of just made what was essentially quite a linear game feel a little bit more open, because it let you get from point A to point B however you wanted. But once you were there, you were then funneled down this story mission. It really... It didn't need to be open world, but what they did with the open world stuff was brilliant. Because I've explained this a million times before, and I'm sorry, but what the special thing that they did was that the opening few hours of the game was set 10 years before the rest of the game, and the way that it made the same open world city look completely different, because we'd jumped forward a decade, was really, really fucking impressive. Like, so it let you discover the world, and you had a handle on where everything was. Then your character went to prison, you come back and everything had changed. Like, it's really clever. And I hope there's stuff like that in this. Does that make sense? I
suppose it's difficult because obviously that's such a cool gimmick. You can't just do that
again, no, because it would be awful. Yeah. So I'm really interested to see how they break. I think this time they're going to focus on breaking up different areas of a city, where you'll be very... GTA 5 was the first game that really nailed that, where you knew that if you were in a predominantly black area or a predominantly white area, it made that very, very clear. And I think that they're going to focus on that, because it's such a big part of what the story looks like it's going to be. Yeah. I trust them. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with. And all the previews have been good.
It does look good.
Are you interested, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the trailer looks stunning. I've seen it a couple of times on TV and stuff. It looks really good. So I'm definitely interested to see what that game's like when it's out. Do you have any idea when it's out?
Couple of months, I think. It's not that far away.
Awesome.
I have to put my name to it. Right. Okay,
this show's on iTunes. It'd be awesome if you've probably always subscribed, of course, but if you can leave a review on iTunes, that'd be awesome, or just tell your mates about it. If you're on Android, you can download the show through Pocket Cast as well if you don't want to get on the iTunes train. If you want to email us, the email address is thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. We're at ComputerGamePod on Twitter. We're at facebook.com/thecomputergameshow, and we're also on YouTube. Just youtube.com/thecomputergameshow, where all new episodes go up each and every week. We're going to maybe try and get some streaming done at some point soon, because I do miss that. So that will also be up there. Also, our previous streams, previous shows, they're all on our YouTube channel. Someone also tweeted about where we are on Twitch. Again, we're not doing much in the way of streams, but you can watch some of our previous stuff at twitch.tv/thecomputergameshow. And that's it.
And yeah, guys, thanks for living it. We'll see you next week. It's bye from me, bye from Matt Murray,
Bye-bye.
bye from Sean Bell.
Bye.
Go fuck yourself from James Farley.
Hey, bye bye.
Quite fun.
Hey.